Oh, my God. Can you imagine Jeff Stoutland? Dude, I wouldn't be shocked if the Dallas Cowboys called him. I wouldn't. Becton not coming back since Stout's gone. No, why would he? And this is another great one. How does that affect Lane Johnson? I mean, how does that affect Lane wanting to come back? If you got Jordan Mailata, who's on right now and going to be the heir apparent to Lane as the leader of the offensive line, and you've got Lane, you got Mailata pissed off, what's that mean to Lane? Now, I saw, hey, listen, the money will be a factor. Seals, can you imagine him with the Chargers? So you would have Mike McDaniel, and you would have what? You would have Jeff Stoutland as your O-line coach in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert. Whew. Man, I could see Jim Harbaugh hiring him. Not when he resigns. Seals, personally, do you think is the guy at 23 as of right now? I think it's Edge. Might be the kid from Missouri. At this pace, Jordan gonna, well, it depends if Lane retires now. If he retires, does Jeffrey, Howie, and Nick realize your shit on your shoes? Jeffrey, you and your man. Kim, I hear you. I hear a lot of people are aggravated right now. By the way, do you think this shrinks the Super Bowl window? Before his death, yes. Before he died, Ray and I had a great conversation. I apologized to him, and he apologized to me. He did. He did. So, you know what? I can't wait. You know, we got Angelo's take earlier on the program on what he thought. And for years, Howard Eskin was on the sidelines there, and obviously talking sports here. I cannot wait to do this here. I want to get his initial reaction because a lot of people are freaking out here, and there's no doubt if you read Jeff Stoutland's response in his post, he wasn't giving Ward roses to the Philadelphia Eagles on the way out the door. Maybe Howard saw this was coming, and it would be inevitable. He joins us now here. Howard, what's your takeaways on this thing here with Jeff Stoutland?
Well, they lost a good coach, obviously, in Jeff Stoutland. He obviously was not happy with what was going to be a reduced role. I think it's apparent that the Sixers gave their new offensive coordinator more responsibility and took away some of Jeff Stoutland's responsibility. But maybe one of the biggest things, it was going to be a scheme change again, and maybe Stoutland didn't really want that. He got out at the right time. He got out at the right time. That's the bottom line. He got out at the right time. It just, I don't think this is going to be a season that Eagles or their fans are going to be excited about. We haven't even gotten there yet, and they haven't even gotten all their players. But I just, there's too many changes. There's too many changes. So they lost a good coach, and I don't. Why would they take away some of his responsibility? But if they weren't going to run a scheme that he liked, and he probably talked about it because the new coach has already been talking to him, and he just said, what am I coaching for anymore?
Yeah, but how did it get here with less than it'll be a year, February 9th. How did it get here this fast like this that arguably, would you not agree Jeff Stoutland probably is in the same conversation as Jim Johnson as one of the greatest coaches that the organization has ever had? How did it get here in that short a period of time to where all of a sudden you're pushing a guy like that out the door?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you say. A short period of time. First of all, you can't
It's
compare.
a year away from being one of the greatest run games in the history of the sport, to where you're demoted in your run game responsibilities, to where the guy has to quit because he can't take it anymore and he was pushed out the door.
Yeah, well, it was a great. I mean, they had great run games before that too. You know, Swift was a good running back for the Eagles as well. I guess there's going to be the only way, and this is the only thing I can think. Their offensive coordinator wasn't the first choice, the second choice, the third choice, the fourth choice, the fifth choice. Maybe he was the sixth choice. And maybe there was nobody left after that they really wanted. So, did he really have to leave Green Bay? Did he have to leave Green Bay? No, I don't think so. So he's taking a chance with a team where the offensive line won't be as good, which means the running game won't be as good, which means obviously the quarterback is not going to be good enough or as good. So he's taking a chance, and nobody else wanted to take that chance to be the Eagles offensive coordinator. So maybe they just gave him, hey, listen, you want to do this, you want to do this, okay. And Stoutland didn't like it. Stoutland's obviously, we all know he's an excellent coach. I mean, Jimmy Johnson is a great coach, and Stoutland's a great coach, but being a head coach is different. I think Jeff Stoutland deserves all the praise that anybody wants to give him. But it's obviously not a good situation for the Eagles. But whether Jeff Stoutland was going to stay or not, I just don't think the Eagles were going to be as good a team as they were this year. And they obviously weren't good enough this year.
But Howard, you gave the job to a guy who's been a coach for 25 months. And you're telling me that a guy that was a coach for 25 months is got enough autonomy to push a guy who's going to Canton one day and is in the same conversation as Dante Scarnecchi as one of the greatest O-line coaches of all time? I find that
he didn't push him. The Eagles pushed him. The only way that they could get him.
But why?
Because I don't think they could get another offensive coordinator that was any good. So I hate to say that they settled with a guy that there's nobody else. Who else was out there?
No
one.
Who
else? I mean, if Frank Reich's not going to come.
Matt Nagy. How about this? Frank Reich didn't even take the job.
That's exactly right. And I don't know this for a fact, I don't think Matt Nagy wanted to come. He'd rather sit out a year, and obviously he doesn't have to sit out a year because he's going to go to the Giants. I don't think Matt Nagy wanted to come to the Eagles. Brian Dable didn't want to come, obviously.
No.
Okay. Tell me who else.
Mike McDaniel didn't want to come.
No, and Frank Reich didn't want to come. He's going to take the Jets job. Now, the Jets, you can only go up, but
But they don't even have a quarterback yet in New York. They don't even know who's going to quarterback. Frank would rather take that job because he told me, Howard, it was too noisy in Philly. He said it was just too noisy, and it was there were changes coming, and Frank didn't want to be part of the changes that were coming because he knew Stoutland was getting shown the door here. So that leads me to this: how much do you think? Is this the organization doing this on Nick? Hey, Nick, you want to run a show? You want this to be your show? All right, Nick. You want this guy in here? Fine. You want to change the offense? Fine. We're going to find out about the quarterback, aren't we, if they're going to spread the ball around? We're going to find out in 26 if that guy can do that, right?
I think we already know about the quarterback.
We do know that, but
okay.
This won't accentuate it.
It's another built-in, I hate to say this. No, actually, I don't. I'm going to be honest. It's another built-in excuse for Jalen Hurts. I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. 7 offensive coordinators in 8 years, another scheme. What do you expect me to do? So it's another built-in excuse for the quarterback. What makes you think, I'm telling you, you didn't like Kevin Patullo. But I did, but it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. But we're going to find out. whether Jalen Hurts can handle obviously a more involved offensive scheme. And I'm not sure he can. I have my questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't believe he can at all. I think this is going to be the undoing of all of this.
Yep.
And I think it's like, I mean, so you won all those games with one style of play, and all of a sudden now you're going to try to evolve an offense with the guy's weaknesses as a player. I just don't. I don't see that. Now let me ask you this. So here's something else that's being reported. So Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni were basically taking over the run game, and they were taking over the run game and how the run plays were going to be called without even conferring with him. And they weren't even talking to him anymore. I have to ask you, how did he get here where that guy, he's created Hall of Fame players? You could make the argument that when you think of the Philadelphia Eagles over the last 13 years, you think of Stoutland. You don't think of anybody else. You don't think of other coaches. You think of Jeff Stoutland because you won Super Bowls by running the ball in those great O-linemen.
Maybe I hate to say that Nick Sirianni wanted a fall guy, but the running game wasn't as good. But then you look at the offensive line. That wasn't as good. Was that Stoutland's fault that Cam Jurgens wasn't as good? Was that Stoutland's fault that Lane Johnson got hurt? Was that Stoutland's fault that they lost, what was it, the right guard, and he wasn't as good? Was it Stoutland's fault? And I like Malata. I like him, but he didn't have as good a year either.
By the way, he's going off on Media Row right now saying how much of a BS move this is. Very
that's good. That's
very un-Eagle-ish right now that, you got a player right now venting his frustrations.
He made him a player. He was a rugby player who knew nothing about how to play the offensive line. And Jeff Stoutland made him an all-pro player. Well, I say all-pro, but what does all-pro mean anymore? All-pro's a joke when you look at that flag football nonsense. I mean, it's just quarterbacks that threw 100 interceptions and 3 touchdowns were because nobody else wanted to go. I mean, it was a complete joke. But he made him a really, really good player. And that's kind of that's why I'm sure he's upset. He made him a really good player. He pushed him, he taught him. And he can develop players like that. Jeff Stoutland as we all know, is a very good coach. And he didn't get bad in 1 year, but they wanted to make changes. I guess they made changes and he wasn't happy with the changes. And did he really need, I kind of think if he takes a year off, I think he might coach again somewhere. Or maybe consult somewhere.
Do you think this exposes Jalen Hurts even more?
Well, yeah, because now you're changing something. He couldn't handle the offense last year. You think by changing the offense, he's going to be a better quarterback? No.
I don't understand what they're doing, man. Do they want him out? Why would you not coach a kid to his skill?
Wait a minute. Do you want Jalen Hurts out?
Yeah.
No. Don't make a decision.
Why are they not coaching him to his skill?
Well, wait a minute. You can't say you'd want him out. You don't want to have a failed season. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine if the Eagles, this fan base, will go ballistic? If the Eagles they play 7. So if they win 9 games, they'll go ballistic because they won't finish in first place. And I'm going to make this prediction now. And I know you're going to put it out there and have people that bust my balls and all that kind of nonsense. So I don't think the Eagles are going to win the division this year.
I think they'll be lucky. I think they'll be lucky to win 7 games.
Well, no. It's 7 games. I mean, come on.
What's the difference between 7 and 9 games? A fumble.
And a blocked field goal.
Correct.
Yeah, right. And a blocked field goal. If they only win 7 games, that means they won't make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs.
That's what Angelo just said.
Yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, they're talking about building a new stadium, and that's really for more seat license money. But they won't have to worry about building it. They'll have to worry about erecting the one they already have as the fans tear it down.
Yeah. All right. How about this one here? How does this affect Lane Johnson with Jeff Stoutland retiring or leaving or quitting or whatever? How does this affect? How does this affect Lane?
He loved him too. I think Lane. What do you do? Lane wasn't prepared to retire. And, when players aren't prepared, they want to give it probably another shot. Lane's always talked about playing 2 or 3 more years. Now, I don't think there was any way he was going to play 3 years. And he's had some injuries the last couple of years. But I think he will think long and hard. But I don't think he's prepared to go out, because I think all along he thought he was going to play at least another year. So, but he's not going to be happy. But, players get over it. They got to play. And the players are the ones that make the plays or don't make the plays. But if the coaching, but it's easy to have a coaching criticism when you make, there's multiple changes, not just 2 changes on offense. It's got to be the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach. There's probably going to be somebody else.
Well, no, they got a passing game coordinator too. Josh Grizzard's now.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. Where did he come from? Tampa? I think
he got fired from Tampa for that train wreck down there.
Yeah. So,
hey, Howard, you know how this all goes away? Your wife or your girlfriend remind you every Tuesday on direct deposit day. It reminds you every Tuesday. Hey, listen, I know you love Jeff and all, but check your account. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, the worst thing that could happen now, and Vic Fangio is not thinking about retirement because of the situation. He's thinking about retirement because he has. The last couple of years, he always wonders whether he's going to come back.
So wait a minute. You don't think that played into that Jeff Stoutland, him quitting and not wanting to be part of the organization for the moves that they're making, that Vic Fangio didn't do this? Stoutland's not in the building now on that other side. They're going to have all those frat boys over there on that side. I mean, it's like a frat house over there now with all the youth that you got. Well, but I'm going to sit here and now I'm going to be the only old guy in the building.
Well, I don't think I don't think he thinks of himself as old. He thinks of himself coaching. And it was always the defense that really was what won for this team. You can talk about the offense and you can talk about Saquon Barkley, but the defense was tremendous. And Vic Fangio obviously was a tremendous part of that. Now, I think he's at a point in his life. He probably wants to enjoy. Think about how long he's coached.
67 years old. He's coached 40 years.
So he started in his 30s.
Yeah. He started with the Stars.
Yeah, that's where I got to know him, with the Stars. Yeah, with the USFL. So, there's a point where you say there's a lot of work. It's more than just the 6 or 7 months of the season in camp. It's more than that. And, maybe he just wants to enjoy life. He doesn't need any more money, although people, when they make that kind of make that kind of money, want to make more. But I don't think Nick's one of those, or Vic's one of those guys that wants to make more money. He's got enough to enjoy his life. And I don't know if he can't quit now. Can he? Can he quit now?
I want to show you this, Howard. Somebody sent me this. I got to show you this because this is Vic Fangio's first job. And he recruited me, by the way. And this is Milford Academy. And this is in Connecticut. And he was the defensive coordinator. These guys sent me this jersey because I was going to go to Milford Academy out of Catholic High before I went to college because I had to get my grades up, but they ended up getting me in anyway, of course, because they figured it out. I'm not going to
Wait a minute. At Miami, they had to worry about your grades?
Well,
do they really care about grades?
No, not after I got in, they didn't. Not after. Once I got in, it was all good. I had to get into the place because of the 19% like acceptance rate. So I had to get in. Remember, getting into college when you're a player, that's the deal. Staying in, whatever. And girls taking exams for you, writing them on your hand, all that. It's all good. You know what? How I got my degree? I painted a fence. I couldn't pass statistics. I went to the guy and I told him, I go, hey, listen, man, I've been in your class and, I don't really go to class. I did the blue book and all this and all that. I can't, I could not pass statistics.
I can't believe you could paint a fence for a good grade.
So wait, I had to, or I wouldn't play in the Fiesta Bowl or in the Orange Bowl. I had to do it twice, actually. So
was that the Fiesta Bowl in what, 93? 93?
87. 87.
Oh, 87.
So he goes like this to me. The guy goes, come over to my house. I go, listen, I'm not doing anything stupid here. You're painting a fence. I'm like, what? Sure enough, I said, all right, I'll paint a fence for an hour or so. So I go over there. This guy had a horse ranch. And I'm doing this, Howard. I'm painting a ranch. And I had to paint both sides. Took me 2 days. Gave me a C. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm out there in the Florida weather anyway. All right, well, here's a positive. Let Dan Sileo be positive for once here. So how does this affect AJ? If they're going to throw the ball around, don't you, if you're AJ, go like this? Wait a minute.
He did that last year.
They didn't throw the ball around last year.
No, but he complained last year. So there'll be some.
Doesn't this move getting away from Stoutland mean that they may want to throw the ball more? Doesn't this look like this? They want to throw the ball more?
Not with this quarterback.
Why is that?
Well, because he's afraid to turn the ball over, and they don't want him to turn the ball over. So, there's so actually it's a good thing. Less turn. They win games by being on the plus side of turnovers. So less turnovers. So the less passes, the less turnovers. That's the way they've operated this offense with Jalen Hurts. Less passes, less turnovers. And I don't think they're going to open up the offense. They might do some different things, but with Saquon Barkley, they're going to open up the offense? I don't think so.
Why'd you get rid of Jeff Stoutland then?
There had to be some internal things, and I don't think it was him and Nick. I just think he wasn't happy with the fact that they were going to start changing things. Listen, Nick is still a good coach. Now,
it's not what Angelo just said.
Well, Angelo has ripped him for 20 years, and he didn't even know him for 20 years. So he probably ripped him before he was born. Just give me a break with
just to not start anything here, but he said when he got off the air, I think it was at the top of the hour, he said that the intelligent part of the program just ended when he threw you.
That's all right. That doesn't bother me. It's just.
I said I value his opinion. I love talking sports with him, and he's
whatever. I'm not going to get into. This is not a session to rip Angelo because it'd be too easy. So I'm not going to do that.
Does AJ stay because of this, or do you think that doesn't really matter?
You can tell him what he wants, but it's not like you have Joe Burrow at quarterback. It's not like you have Josh Allen at quarterback. It's not like you have Matthew Stafford at quarterback. I'm not going to say Dak Prescott. I'm not going to go there because that would really piss people off.
He is a better passer in the pocket than Jalen Hurts will ever.
Oh yeah, clearly. But in the pocket for sure.
In the pocket.
Yeah. But he's still got to get somebody to throw him the ball and see when he's open. So you can run all these different.
You think AJ's problems are not with the offense; it's with the quarterback.
Yes.
You're one of the only people in Philly that's saying this. Most people are saying that AJ hates the offense, not the quarterback.
Well, he hates the
not hate him personally, but not hate him personally.
He doesn't like the offense, but he's when he's wide open. I don't forget a lot of things.
Brian Dable said AJ Brown was wide open the whole time they were watching on film.
Okay,
he was the head coach of the Giants.
I don't watch the tape, or it's not even tape anymore.
22.
It's electronic. Yeah, right. Okay. No, I mean the coaches. Okay.
Tape.
Okay. So they see when a guy's open, and AJ will see when he's open. But I saw one play. I was standing there, and he was pissed, and I got reamed out for reporting what I saw, which was not a knock on AJ. it was a third down. He was wide open, and it was an incomplete pass. Well, actually, whatever it was, incomplete or a sack or whatever. And AJ was wide open. He came over to the sidelines and, threw his helmet down and sat down. He stayed by himself, so he didn't bother anybody. To his credit, which I made a point, to his credit, he didn't go up to the quarterback and say, "Hey, man, I was wide open," or didn't go up to anybody else and say, "What the hell is going on?" But there was a question about why he was upset. And I saw why he was upset because I was standing there and I saw he was wide open. How many times, if I saw that one time, you think that was the only time?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, all right. So,
do you believe that this year will be the end of Jalen Hurts 26? I do.
That's a tough question. They got to get a quarterback to get, for this to be the last year, they've got to get a quarterback. So is that easy where they pick in the draft?
Well, wait a minute. I'm watching something in Seattle right now where I watched a guy who was fired 5 times who makes $30 million a year, $37 million, get to the Super Bowl with a quarterback who's okay, not elite. He's a really good player. So to me, Howard, I think what Sam Darnold has done, it makes me go like this. Howie Roseman gets all the roses for the way he builds the roster. You're telling me I could get to a Super Bowl with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo and Sam Darnold, and I don't need an elite guy? I mean, Jalen Hurts is not elite. Jalen Hurts is a good player. He's like the rest of those guys. He's just got an elite roster. And last year when the roster wasn't elite, Howard, we saw it against the 49ers. They got beat by a JV team.
Well, I don't know what quarterback's out there. And the comment I made is it's not Jalen Hurts last year with the Eagles if they haven't found a quarterback yet. So here would be the thing. They pick up a quarterback, and they'll pick up a quarterback. And they always do. And you hope you get lucky with somebody because they'll probably trade Tanner McKee because he's going to want a bigger contract, and they're not prepared to do that. So they'll probably trade him. And you got to find another quarterback before you get rid of this quarterback. Now, they'll try to find another quarterback, and just because they always do, because you got to have somebody else just in case he's got 2 bad years in a row. So I can't say that this is his last year if they don't find a quarterback. Will he get much better? I mean, how many years do we have to wait for him to get much better?
Would you take Baker Mayfield over him?
Yes.
Baker's going to be a free agent next year.
Yeah, I don't know what he would get. Baker's a tough guy, and he's smart, and he's just,
He's making 30 right now.
Yeah, I don't know what he would get, but the question is, would I take Baker Mayfield? Yeah, because I think he can do more things with the offense. Is he as athletic? No. But can he do more things if you change the system? Yeah, he's a free agent after this year or after next year?
After next year.
Oh, okay. Well, then you got it.
Well, they're going to go into this year anyway with him. I mean, if I'm Baker, if the Buccaneers don't give me $50 million and they want to just go in and kick the can down the road and allow me to go in to being a free agent and play out that last year, which I think they're going to do anyway, I don't know, man. I might want to get on that open market and see what the Eagles and some other teams like Minnesota have to say, because there's going to be teams out there that are going to be looking for a quarterback. And if I'm Baker, I may want to go out there and test myself and see what the market says.
Boy, Minnesota, that's another story. I mean, I don't know that they're done with McCarthy yet, but whatever the case may be.
Oh, boy, that would be a tragic mistake if they don't think they're done with that guy.
Well, sometimes it takes a time.
You're right. It does. It does. But, man.
Okay. You know what? You don't develop like Bo Nix developed. I think Jackson Dart next year with new coaches will develop. New York Giants NFC East champs next year.
Would you put Kirk Cousins in that offense right now as a stopgap guy?
Would I put who?
Kirk Cousins in that Eagle offense right now is a stopgap until you found a guy.
No. I mean, he's not.
Hurts will never be anywhere near what Cousins is in the pocket, like in
Well,
his life.
yeah, but you're not going to win with Cousins. This team is under
Agreed.
pressure because of this city and because of these fans. What was Milton Williams said there? What did he say? I forget what he said.
Oh no, Milton Williams said the difference between Patriot fans is they don't want to get in trouble. I'm paraphrasing. And he said Eagle fans don't give a shit.
Yeah, right. Which is the truth, actually. Which is the truth. So no, I'm telling you, you've got to have a successful season, and if it's not, all hell will break loose. And I don't know that the new offensive coordinator is going to get that done. And there's other elements of the team. Remember, it comes down to players.
What's the owner thinking right now, in your opinion? You know the guy. What's he seeing? What's he thinking right now? Because he's the one that shuffles the deck, and he's the one that puts the cards on the table for everyone to play. What's he thinking?
He's thinking the quarterback's got to get better. I don't think there's any question. He's thinking the quarterback's got to get better.
That's why the changes have been made. Is that this is why he has to get better.
Well, the changes were made because Kevin Petula couldn't be back next year as the offensive coordinator. And the reason he couldn't is because the fans, they pay too much attention to some of these nitwits. Because, you know, when you get his kids being ripped in school, and that's disgusting.
It is.
And people egging his house, that's disgusting. So he couldn't, and he knew it. And it wasn't, I'm telling you, it wasn't his fault. But so they had to make a change. And nobody wanted, I'll say apparently, but from what I understand, nobody really, or many people did not want to come here. If Frank Reich doesn't want to come to be the coordinator for his buddy and help him out, that's got to speak volumes, doesn't it? To go to a team without a quarterback, got to speak volumes.
I want to ask you this question that I asked Angelo.
Who?
I asked Angelo.
Angelo who?
I asked Angelo this question. I want to ask you. So Robert Kraft has been to 11 Super Bowls now with 3 different regimes. Okay, Parcells and Bledsoe and Brady and Belichick and now Vrabel and May.
Did Bledsoe didn't?
Yeah, he did. Bledsoe and Parcells went to the Super Bowl when.
Then Brady came in on that game.
No.
Win that Super Bowl.
Before this was when Parcells was the head coach.
Yeah.
And Belichick was the assistant, and so they had Bledsoe and Parcells, and then Brady. No. What you're thinking is that Bledsoe won the AFC Championship game because Brady got hurt in the divisional round, and then they put Brady back in for the Super Bowl that year, I believe, against the Rams.
Whatever it was like a minute and something left or it was late in the game, I think, right? Because he got hurt.
He got hurt, right? And so,
right.
Okay. My question is, what makes Robert Kraft a better owner than Jeffrey Lurie? He's been to 11 Super Bowls. This is 11th. He's won 6. He's got 11 AFC championships. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have left a couple Super Bowls on the table with the way they manage the team sometimes with stuff like this that's going on.
Okay. So who were the quarterbacks for those Super Bowls? Bledsoe?
Okay. You had Bledsoe and Parcells. That was the coach. You had Brady and
Did Bledsoe and Parcells win the Super Bowl with the Patriots?
They got beat. They got beat by the Packers.
Okay. Oh, so they didn't win a Super Bowl. So
but they got there. I'm talking about 3 teams, 3 different guys that got there. What makes him a better owner? Figure this out, Howard. Since 1994, I think Jeffrey bought the team in 95. Since 94, he's been to 37% of the Super Bowls, the Patriots. That's like every 2 years, every 3 years, the Patriots have been in that game. Why is that? Why is he a better owner than Jeffrey Lurie?
I don't know that he's a better owner. I just know that they had a Hall of Fame coach in Bill Parcells.
Yep.
They had a Hall of Fame quarterback whether he gets voted in on the first ballot or not. I think just to make a statement, Brady should not get in on the first ballot, so we can hear all this whining.
But then Andy Reid shouldn't either.
Why not?
Why would Andy Reid? Andy Reid doesn't have the resume Belichick does.
He didn't cheat.
Okay. Well, again.
Okay, he didn't cheat.
Okay, so wait a minute. Brady did in Deflategate. That had nothing to do with Bill.
Well, Bill was the head coach.
So so Brady's back there fishing around with his buddy. They're fixing the footballs. That's on Bill?
Yeah, well, Belichick cheated with the whatever you call it.
Spygate.
The Spygate. So he cheated with that. So they both cheated. And they both knew each other were cheating. So they both knew each other were cheating.
So you think it was justified they didn't go in?
Yeah, they're going to get in. What's the big deal? You don't get in on the first ballot. Like, who cares? Really, who cares? And owners don't get in there that quickly anyway.
I personally don't think owners should be in.
Probably not. The owners that are in are probably George Halas, right? But he was a coach too. If I can't remember back. Okay. So, and Jerry Jones, because he buys his way in. But what other owners are in there?
Wellington Mara's in.
Oh yeah, well, it's just, you got to go way back.
Well, Bert Bell's in.
Well, but Bert Bell kind of was the beginning of the NFL. Come on,
I'm just giving you good. I'm just giving you owners guys that have gone in.
But but Kraft not getting in on the first ballot's not a big deal. And Belichick not getting in on the first ballot, I don't think is a big deal, because you got to penalize him a little bit for cheating. You got to penalize, and that's not a penalty. Without Tom Brady, he's got a losing record. And I don't want to hear about assistant coaches, and he won 2 other Super Bowls.
Lombardi wasn't a first ballot. So you keep.
Okay. All right. So, keep it in perspective. And Lombardi was one of the greatest coaches there was. And it's just, but that's not even an owner. That's a coach. No, I don't know that Jeffrey Lurie spends, Robert Kraft spends, you have a cap, but there's other things to make the players comfortable. I mean, a little thing. The Eagles wanted their players to be healthy. So I know at one point, I don't know how many years ago, Jeffrey Lurie approved organic foods for the team. That cost like $400,000 more a year to buy organic foods. So he would spend the money. It's not like he doesn't want to spend the money.
By the way, I don't think he's a bad owner. I want you to know that.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he is.
No, I think he's a good owner, because he'll do, does he, say yes or no on some decisions? It would, if it wasn't for him, I don't think Nick Sirianni would have been the coach. I think it would have been Josh McDaniel, which is an awful head coach. And so good assistant. Great right. Yeah, good assistant. That was Buddy Ryan, good assistant, but a bad head coach. So I think Jeffrey Lurie, he got in a decision about kicker, and when that kicker was a stiff. It was a guy who was with Dallas that came to the Eagles. I forget. He's a coach with Dallas now. And then he stopped. So, he says, hey, listen, why? Yes. And you lay it out for him. And he says, and he trusts his people, he says, yes. Not all the decisions are good ones, but I think Jeffrey Lurie's a good owner. But, Robert Kraft, come on. Robert Kraft had Bill Parcells. He had Tom Brady, and he was in a weak division. Those teams sucked for years.
Still picking good people, though. I mean, Vrabel looks like a great hire, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he was. And he's, he's part of the family.
About Jeffrey, he since he's owned the team, and I've made this point to you since 2000, they've never had a losing record coach, and that includes Chip Kelly. So, I mean, he does make tremendous hires as the head coach. I just think sometimes their process gets in their own way.
Well, the thing about, you're taking basically a quarterback coach as a head coach who eventually will be one of the top 3 coaches all time in football, and Andy Reid might be the best all time.
He might have the all time. He might pass Shula.
Yeah. And he was a quarterback coach.
Yeah,
for the Green Bay Packers.
For Holmgren.
And I think they ended up losing that Super Bowl before he came here. It was in San Diego. I remember being there and actually talking to him. Ray Rhodes said, "Yeah, go talk to Andy Reid." I said, "Who?" I said, "Andy Reid." And Andy was sitting at the table by himself for the news conference at the Super Bowl. He remembers it. I'm here reading the USA Today, and which nobody reads the newspapers anymore. It's sadly enough. And
Washington
you're
Post is going out.
What's that?
Washington Post sports section. You see that? They're 86.
Oh yeah, the Washington Post sports section. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
That's where Wilbon and Kornheiser. That's where those guys came out of. You know, everybody in your city came out of the Inquirer, and now all of a sudden these newspapers now.
Okay, I'm going to make a political statement.
Social media just destroying.
I'm going to make a political statement on your show.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay, and you may not be in favor of it. Jeff Bezos pays $40 million for a movie that is the worst movie in the history of cinema.
That's
the worst
movie.
It was the worst piece of crap, Melania. So he gives her $40 million. Melania. So he gives her $40 million for garbage, so he can get, government contracts is really what it's allegedly what it's all about. And then he cuts his staff after he gives Melania $40 million for the worst movie in the history of movies. Total friggin', I don't want to say the other word.
Hey, we cut this. He's cutting the sports section from the Post. It's supposed to save the Washington Post. Don't you get it? I mean, all those sports guys now.
Well, wait a minute. Then take some of that. Take some of it. Take all that $40 million. So people don't have to be conned into, this was a great box office hit. It was fucking garbage, all right?
Wait a minute. The president said it was one of the greatest movies of all.
It's unusual. A movie critic.
Yeah. He's the same guy that told
You know what? I love the trailer. How stupid is that trailer where he asked her during the election, "You watching the election?" "No, I'm not watching it." You put it in the trailer. I'm not watching the election results.
Oh my God.
I'll watch it later.
I saw the clip to this shit and I was like,
I apologize. I don't like to use that 4-letter word, but that was more than 4 letters because I had an extra 3 letters on the show, but I couldn't hold myself back. It is but I'm pissed at him. I mean, listen, I buy stuff from Amazon because it's convenient and it's good, and I get all that. And
he's made by the Seahawks, by the way. He's one of the names that are in line to buy.
That's all right. He's tried to buy, we'll see if they approve him or not. But, because you got to get approval. And there'll be other people that want to buy the Seahawks too. But the thing is, really, I'm just so sad when people lay off people. In a business, and I know the newspaper business is not all these papers are going to go nonprofit. I don't know how you get away with nonprofit when you're trying to make a profit, but whatever the case, I don't understand all that. But, he lays off all these people and he wastes 40. Well, the movie cost, I guess, 75, 40 million on one of Epstein's friends.
Oh my! Hey, by the way, did you hear the names? Josh Harris's name is in that thing and the emails.
Like 400 emails. Yeah,
Josh Harris's name.
And then one time, I think one of the reports allegedly has him going to the island.
Yeah, Josh Harris's name.
Well, I'll give you a little tidbit here. The Sixers celebrated the 2000-2001 Eastern Conference champions, not the NBA champions. The other 25-year anniversary the other night. The other managing partner who has an equal share in a guy named David Blitzer, who's a really good guy, it was there. Josh Harris was not there. It was right after the report came out about the Epstein files. Do you think there was a reason that he wasn't there?
Nah, probably not.
Yeah.
Did you like Pat Croce?
What's that?
Did you like Pat Croce? Did you like him?
Yeah, I used to work out with those guys when he used to work out the players.
He's done in the Keys now.
Yeah, I know. He's got a bunch of places, but he's living in the Keys. Yeah. I used to work out with the players when his place was maybe 15 minutes from my house. So I used to go out and work out with the players in the morning. And he used to kick their ass.
All right, finally here. So hold on, everyone.
Everything I said was allegedly, by the way.
Very nicely done, as the pro you are. So on this day, February 5th, you are saying the Philadelphia Eagles will have a down year. The quarterback's a stiff.
I didn't say he was a stiff. That's your words.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think he can't win it by himself. And sometimes quarterbacks have to win it by him. How many teams get to and win a Super Bowl without a good quarterback, especially win Brad Johnson won one. He was a good quarterback. Jeff Hostetler, but yeah, their defense was so amazing.
Yes, but I don't believe you have to have an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
I do.
We just
in most cases.
Okay, like what Nick Foles was an elite.
He was for that game.
Okay, but that's not an elite guy.
But he was for that game. Do you think Jalen Hurts could ever have a game like that?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I thought his first Super Bowl. I thought the second one was a gift from heaven. I thought the first one he was really good in. I did.
He wasn't Nick Foles-ish.
He had 70 yards and 350 yards passing. I mean, that's getting it. That's 400 yards in offense. I don't know what you wanted.
The Eagles, Nick Foles, I think, had 500 yards in offense.
Nick Foles showed up as a substitute teacher and had a really good day teaching.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Okay. Now, he had a pass where he...
All right, let's put it this way. In 90% of the Super Bowls, don't you need an elite quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well...
Yes. The answer is yes. Come on.
Depends on what you think elite is. Okay, do you think Sam Darnold's elite?
Right now, he's playing as an elite quarterback. Do I think he's elite? He's got to do it a few more years, but he's really playing well.
Howard, how about this? If he wins this game, he's 32-8 over. He would have won 32 of 40 ball games, an NFC title, a Super Bowl. Would have thrown for over 8,600 yards in 2 years and over 65 touchdowns in 2 years. I don't know, man. I mean, to me, that's more of an indictment on the organizations failing him than it really is.
I think so. You have to be. And sometimes a quarterback, a light goes off. And sometimes, but the quarterback's got to have him in it. It's very few USC quarterbacks that have been great quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's the only guy ever to start in a Super Bowl.
Carson Palmer was, but not for a lot of years. USC quarterbacks. Sanchez was good, but not good enough.
No. USC quarterbacks. I mean, as you know, and for me growing up, the true stars on those programs were the O-line, the running backs, and the defensive players like Sileo. But they weren't really the quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Leinart stunk.
Yes, he did.
They never really had anybody. So what do you got coming up on the shows, man? You've had some spectacular guests. By the way, great job on that, John. Hey, what did you take away from that John Harbaugh interview? What was your biggest takeaway with him?
He was relaxed.
By the way, folks, he had John Harbaugh on, so make sure you guys check that out. What did you take away from that?
He made a point that to win the division, you gotta coach your team and do things to beat the Eagles. He threw the Commanders in there at the end, but to beat the Eagles. He's not going to worry about the New York media because he's been coaching enough. Not going to worry about the fans. And as he said, the guy sending him a notice on or a comment on social media, a guy from his basement sending a note on social media. That's what he said. I'm not going to pay attention to a guy sending messages out from his basement. So he was good. I mean, he was very... That's why I try to treat those things as conversations and not interviews.
But I heard you used to get aggravated when some guy named Stan from King of Prussia would call your ass.
I didn't get aggravated. I called him a dope or I hung up on him. It's just, fans aren't the coach.
No.
But Harbaugh was very comfortable, very conversational. I can't believe how many. It's like 30 news organizations picked up quotes from that because John was just.
I watched it.
He was really good, and that's who John is, and I've known him for well over 25 years. So no, he was great, and and I had John Calipari on last night, he was great too. He's got an issue with all the wrong things with the portal and transfers and NIL. He doesn't have a problem with players making money, and he coached Tyrese Maxey at Kentucky, so we talked about that a little
I
bit
have
too.
one last thing I have to ask you. Yesterday,
Actually, he coached a lot of players, but Tyrese Maxey plays for the Sixers. So
yeah, he when he was at UMass, he was spectacular up there.
Yes,
when
he was.
He
Yes,
coached.
he was.
He coached Marcus Camby up there, and that thing was really great. Yesterday was the 8th anniversary of the Eagles winning their first Super Bowl.
Yep.
Just curious for you, that born and raised, lived there, talked sports your whole life. What did that day mean to you? What did you think when all of a sudden, the thoughts were it was never going to happen, and it happened? And it happened against, in that style of happening, against Brady and Belichick. What'd you think? What were your take? What did you take away from that night 8 years ago?
I'll give you some personal insight. I didn't have time during the game to get caught up in the emotion of it because there were so many things going on, and I really do pay attention to what's going on. A sideline reporter should not just be a figurehead, should bring information to the broadcast and not just the injuries, which they give you anyway. So there's other insights to it. So, and I always try to do that. But during that game, I was so caught up in in everything that went on. And then after the strip sack by Brandon Graham. Yeah, by Brandon Graham. I said, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And I got caught up emotionally. I really did. It's my job to do my job and not let emotion play into it, which a lot of sports people do nowadays. And not the emotion, they just kiss ass.
Yeah, but how do you not get choked up? A guy like you, it's just been your life.
I was I would have. I was with about I'm saying about a minute left. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to win the Super Bowl. And I saw when I was a little kid, I saw the championship, the '60 Eagles team. Still have my ticket. I don't know how I kept the ticket. 60 champ. They beat Vince Lombardi, his only playoff loss in his career. The '60 championship Eagles with great players, but that was so much because it was such an intense action, and even Doug Peterson, and I put those, and I had him on a few weeks ago. We talked about, everybody remembers the Philly special. Oh, the Philly special. That was before the half, in the first half. Yeah. I said, Doug, eliminate and it was a great trick play. But eliminate that. What was the biggest play? And I'll never forget this play. 4th and 1, there was a pass to Zach Ertz, and they got 2 yards on the play. That was a drive that gave them the lead. And if they didn't, and Doug pointed this out, Doug Peterson, if they didn't get the first down, it was a short field for New England. They already had gotten the lead, and that was big. And then on that drive, Zach Ertz scored the touchdown. There's so many things in that game, but that was and I'm lined up with where that play was, and I'll never, ever forget it. And yes, yesterday was the February 4th, 2018, was the 8-year anniversary of the greatest Super Bowl in Eagles history. Hey, listen, all Super Bowls are great, but there was nothing like that. Nothing will ever compare in Eagles history to that Super Bowl. And that was everything. And the locker room was great, the great chemistry, not a lot of whining and bitching like players do. They all kind of hung together and played together. And it was the best chemistry I've ever seen in a locker room in all the years I've covered in the Eagles locker room in all the years I've covered the Eagles.
And it was also the 61st birthday of Jerome Brown on February 4th. Jerome was born on February 4th, so I thought it was.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
it was kind of appropriate that things were meant to be. That he was meant to be an Eagle, and Norman Brayman knew him years ago when he used to come over from the Cadillac dealership. We all knew he would become an Eagle, and on the day you guys had the greatest moment, one of the greatest Eagles of all time was born on that day. And he loved being an Eagle. I know that because he's one of my best friends.
Yeah, and I got along with him great too. He was a Great guy, because I
He was
knew
like
him when
Barkley.
he was at my,
He had a personality like Charles Barkley.
Yep. And I knew him when he was at the University of Miami, which was nice. And then when he came to Philadelphia, I knew this guy from before. So yeah, I didn't realize it was his birthday, but that Super Bowl, I will never, ever, ever forget. That Super Bowl trophy behind me is from that Super Bowl. And they all look the same, but that's from that Super Bowl.
That's phenomenal. Howard, it is always great. Thank you so much again. I mean, I don't know, man. One day I got to get you and Cataldi on at the same time. That would be a hoot. Is to watch you two guys.
You know what? I'm going to tell you. I challenged him. You got to get us in the same room.
Yeah. Okay.
I challenged him, and we would have sold out. I had the promoter that did boxing. It was a Johan Promotions, and I wanted to box him at the Spectrum, a boxing match. And I know we would have sold it out. It's a Spectrum. It was before the building they have now. And I challenged him, and he became the word begins with a P.
Oh my God.